Kuzu Sangpo and welcome to Bhutan This Week, a weekly news magazine program with me, Sringa Magalton. Our top stories this week. Flood victims in Sarang received Sera from His Majesty the King. Health Ministry beefs up Zika virus surveillance. And remittance in foreign currency to be tried from next month. Victims of the recent flash flood in Sarang Dongkhak received Sera of essential food items from His Majesty the King. Of the 75 households affected, 2 are from Gelifu Dongkhak.
On behalf of His Majesty the King, Sarbang Zongda distributed the Sera comprising of rice, oil and sugar among others.
His Majesty felt our difficulties and granted us Sera in the form of rent for 6 months. We are receiving one more Sera today. I have no words to express our gratitude to His Majesty the King.
We are very happy to receive this Sera from His Majesty the King. Last time His Majesty granted us house rent Sera and this time it's food items.
The continuous heavy rainfall last month washed away the entire Sarbang Bazaar, acres of paddy fields and roads at various locations in Sarbang Dongkhak. For Karmongdi in Sarbang, Sonamongdi, BBS News.
A total of 1,270 candidates have been nominated for the post of GUP in Mangmi during the Chiok Zomdu across the country for the upcoming second phase of the local government elections. There are some 600 candidates each for the post of GUP and Mangmi. Mongar has the highest number of candidates and Gasa the lowest. Over 1,800 aspiring candidates for these two posts took part in the Zomdu. Just over 25% of the total eligible voter population participated during the Zomdu. Out of 400,000 voters, only 100,000 cast their votes. A common concern among the voters is lack of postal ballot facility during the Zomdu. According to Election Commission, it is necessary for the candidates to be already selected and known for postal ballot. And it is only during the Zomdu that the candidates are first known and selected by the electorate. Road to Chukuling Geok in Pemagasil has remained blocked for more than a month now. And if not cleared before the upcoming local government elections, officials are concerned it could hamper the electoral process.
The Chukuling Geok Center Road is blocked at 2 different locations following the heavy rainfall last month. During the LG election coordination meeting yesterday, the Geok's administrative officer said they have already informed the Department of Roads in Nganglam about the roadblock, but nothing has been done so far.
The road remained blocked since 17th of last month. Last Friday there was another minor block. Even that's not cleared yet. We thought maybe it's due to budget constraint, but I don't think that's the case. They deploy a backhoe loader instead of an excavator, and that machine keeps traveling from Chukurling to Nganglam frequently.
Pemagasil's Zongda, Pinso said the Zongkhak and Dongkhak administrations also requested the Department of Roads to speed up the road clearance works.
I asked them to write to us if they have shortage of budget, manpower or machinery. I said I will try and get help, but they haven't done so.
An official from the Department of Roads in Nganglam said the blocks could not be cleared as the task required an excavator. The department is however expecting to clear the block by mid of next month. They will deploy an excavator by 5th September. Compiled for Teledoji in Pemakatsel, Pup Game for BBS News.
Health Ministry intensifies surveillance system following increased Zika virus cases in the neighboring countries. The number of Zika virus cases has significantly increased this year in Singapore and Thailand. And these two places are frequented by Bhutanese, leaving the people prone to the disease.
The Health Ministry provides screening tests and health messages to travelers at the Poro International Airport.
남수면이 대화를 적 안좀 배워진 같이 기하나 스캔 토미터 세지도라 아니기 같이 아니 나온 베베 다 제비 쉬워진 같이 아니 온 배심레데 야 제고 아니 베베 에지비니라 야 제고 아니 배심레 콘 아니 대화 에버진 마블라 하나 태움바데 아니 헤미디스 같이 나 토게 베베 같이 야 멘카나 아니 기용스 슈니라
all the Bhutan flights coming from outside, when the flight takes off, then in the airline they spray an anti-mosquito insecticide. So they spray so that it will kill any Aedes aegypti mosquito which is in the plane, it will be killed. That is one. Another, there is an announcement in all the flights. If people have symptoms like Zika infection, then they have to report in Paro airport to the health desk.
The mosquito that transmits Zika virus also spreads dengue, and it is present only in Chuka, Samti, Samrubjonkar and Wandipotang. Meanwhile, intensive surveillance is carried out in southern parts of the country with one full dedicated entomologist looking after Zika. The symptoms include mild fever, rashes, joint pain, conjunctivitis and headache, and the symptoms usually last for 2 to 7 days.
People who are coming from Zika infected places outside Bhutan, coming to Bhutan, entering Bhutan. So they should not have abstain from sex or should not have sex for 8 weeks. If no symptoms, 8 weeks. But if they have symptoms of Zika infection, then 6 months they should not have sex. This is very important.
The Zika virus is generally a mild disease but is a particular risk to pregnant women where babies are born with abnormally small heads and undeveloped brains. With additional reporting from Yeshigelsen, Singzam, BBS News.
Bhutanese couples will no longer have to travel outside the country for intrauterine insemination. It is a fertility treatment that involves placing sperm inside a woman's uterus to facilitate fertilization. A new infertility clinic at the National Referral Hospital opened recently to provide this service.
Located at the ground floor of the National Referral Hospital, the new infertility clinic will facilitate fertilization service. The process that takes about few hours will be carried out here in this clinic now.
It's a milestone for the JDW hospital to open up this infertility clinic. Now, when you talk about infertility in today's world, it starts from very primary level and it can go up to very expensive. So here we will screen couples at a primary level. We want to first find out whose fault is either the male problem, either the female problem, or the combined problem. The IUI, this is called insemination, intrauterine insemination. This is a midway solution.
A couple can undergo the treatment if the number of sperm is ranging from 5 million to 15 million. However, it is not applicable for those with sperm count less than 5 million.
Regarding the infertility problem in Bhutan, it's not at an alarming rate, a national rate at present. In our previous experience, we see that we get around 5 to 10% of the OPD patients. They come here with some problem of not getting pregnant. On an average, we think that it is a significant number people reporting to JDW, which we should be able to help in some ways. So it's not a national problem at the present, but it is a significant issue seen among the people visiting Gyne OPD.
The service costs a minimum of 300,000 Newton in India. Singzam, BBS News.
Bhutan's first assessment carried out for all the protected areas in the country revealed that all protected areas are well managed. The protected areas, constituting 51% of the country's area, provide a safe place for some of the most endangered species on the planet. And it also serves as critical nature reserves for eastern Himalayan biodiversity.
The Department of Forest and Park Services launched the Bhutan Met Plus methodology and assessment reports on protected areas today. MET stands for the Management Effective Tracking Tool, which is a universally accepted tool that measures the success and the management of the protected areas in a country. Bhutan started assessing the protected areas in 2014 to strengthen the management effectiveness. But their effectiveness is limited and affected the ability to understand the impact of the conservation in Bhutan, react to changing conditions, and to adapt management to improve efficiency and effectiveness of the protected areas. The protected areas also include 1 botanic park and 7 connecting biological corridors. Pasa, BBS News.
With increase in the number of motor vehicles every year, traffic accidents are becoming quite common. While it is every individual's responsibility to be careful, safety measures such as speed breakers and zebra crossings play an important role. But such measures are not in place in Paro town, and this is posing a problem for all, including motorists, pedestrians, and even law enforcers.
Recently, a school-going boy was hit by a truck in Paro town while crossing the road. The victim was seriously injured and had to undergo surgery, while the driver has been taken into police custody. So who is to blame here? Is the driver solely at fault for driving over the speed limit and not being able to stop his vehicle on time? Should the child or his parents have been more responsible to make sure it was safe before crossing the road? Or is it because of lack of safety measures to ensure traffic safety? Questions are many. Currently, except for one zebra crossing along the main highway, which is faded and rarely used, Paro town does not have any other traffic safety measures in place. Most of the people freely cross the road.
Zebra cross Jimmy was in Telemi Father Suju, the Etamandu. Dylan Aludu Father Swans and Gary Tom the Namsota Mandu Sushuni Bill. This is Father Swatri, Lamtio to the Tamandu. And what was Zebra cross you watching them? I stopped the Eva.
The police claim while such instruments would help in traffic safety, it is not in their jurisdiction to install them. The Road Safety and Transport Authority trust on the importance of such measures for traffic safety. They say it is a joint responsibility.
Shipchiba Dadin This in Timsungak de Antode. Kungi Antolo Kungi, me mom Kungi me ma Shipchina Dundigi.
Traffic police are the ones who are in the field inspecting, so they are more aware of the needs. They need to inform us, and then we, along with the municipality, should work on it. But the actual work of setting up must be done by the municipality, since they are the ones in charge of the structures in the town.
Paro municipality shared there is no such rule which spells out the responsible agency. They will be able to set up such measures alone, but it could complicate the traffic system and safety without the guidance from other parties involved. They call for a concerted effort. However, no joint discussion on the matter has taken place so far. As per the police record, till date, 7 pedestrians have been hit by vehicles in Paro town. Compiled for Yishi Gelson in Paro, this is Pemal Harden for BBS News.
The government and Royal Monetary Authority will pilot remittance in foreign currency from next month. Through this provision, Bhutanese working overseas will be able to send money home in foreign currencies.
Once established, the service will be available for every Bhutanese living across the globe. It will be set up in 3 phases.
The latest I've heard is that the RMA will first talk to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and try to encourage our diplomats working overseas to open foreign currency accounts in Bhutan. After piloting with diplomats, then they're thinking of inviting all UN peacekeepers, Bhutanese UN peacekeepers, Bhutanese serving in the UN peacekeeping force, to open accounts here again and maintain foreign currency accounts at home in Bhutan while they serve abroad. The third phase is to expand it to the rest, whether they are in Australia, in America, in the UK, in the Middle East, regardless, they will all in the future be allowed to operate foreign currency denominated accounts in Bhutan.
Finance Minister Namgyal Doji said, to study the system, the central bank has sent a team to Nepal and Bangladesh, where remittance has a strong hold of the national economy.
RMA is also in touch with the Western Union, and the team is, I think, going to be here in the first week of September. For the other residents in abroad, like in New York, DC, UK, London, and even Melbourne, Sydney, during the annual general meeting of the World Bank, we are closely in discussion with RMA that we would go with the team, and we would like to present this the process to remit the foreign currency from abroad.
The government requested the central bank to come up with a provision in 2014. This, the Prime Minister said, was following several incidences of Bhutanese working abroad, losing money sent home through friends and relatives. Kipchu, BVS News.
Bank of Bhutan reduced its lending interest rates beginning this month. This revision is following the Royal Monetary Authority's introduction of minimum lending rate of 6.75%.
On an average, interest rates for various loans provided by Bank of Bhutan have been reduced by 2.76%. For instance, for one of the most common loans availed, personal or consumer loan, the interest rate has come down to 9.64% from 12.75%.
The Bank of Bhutan has recently revised its interest rates based on the RMA circular, introducing the MLR-based lending rates, moving away from the earlier base rate system. The bank has now introduced 3 different types of rates for the benefit of our customers, so that they get the benefit of the tenure that they take the loan for, so that they are not burdened by extra premium on the length of the loans. So that is why we've come up with 3 different types of lending rates. One is the floating interest rate, then one is the floating with 5-year reset, and the last one is a fixed interest rate.
The revised rates are also applicable to the loans already availed, provided the client fulfills certain conditions of the bank. The interest rate will be charged on the remaining loan amount. As per the circular from the central bank, all financial institutions in the country were supposed to come up with the respective lending interest rates based on the minimum lending rate. But so far, only Bank of Bhutan has revised its interest rates.
Now, following the suit of the Bank of Bhutan, we are expecting that other banks and non-banks will also issue their revised interest rate structure within this month. As per the regulation, as per the order we have issued, actually they are supposed to respond by 1st of September. Nevertheless, since this approval has to go through their own boards and through their own system, we are a little flexible on that. So, but we are expecting all the banks to respond to this interest rate policy within this month.
The new interest rate policy of the central bank is expected to generate more competition among financial institutions to offer interest rates in productive areas. It was introduced after extensive consultations with the government, financial institutions and the Reserve Bank of India. Compiled for PASA, Sonamongdi, PBS News.
After waiting for about 4 years, residents of Shimang town finally have access to enough drinking water supply. Inconsistent execution of the work delayed the facility, and people had to manage with the limited water supply until recently.
From about 2 weeks ago, water taps in the town once again started to flow freely. Residents no longer have to fetch water from alternate sources in the area, a practice they had to resort to for a few years. With the new water supply, more than 3,000 residents of the town can be assured of a continued supply, especially in winter when drinking water is scarce in the community.
With enough drinking water, we can maintain hygiene. We now have enough water even for our cattle. The new water supply has solved everything.
Works for the new water supply began in 2012.
But it got delayed as the Dzongkhag administration terminated the concerned contractor for inconsistent work progress. More than 6 million ngötum was invested for the new water supply project. For Pema Zamdup in Shimang, Tamchuzam, PBS News.
That's all we have for you this week. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye and have a great weekend.